afternoon, friends. How are you today? I know I look like crazy hippie lady today. No offense to hippies, love hippies. I couldn't do anything with my hair today. It's driving me absolutely crazy. The bandana won't stay in, headbands won't stay in, clips won't stay in, so it's got the stretchy tight headbanding, wide headbanding today, just to keep it pinned down because it's driving me utterly crazy. So if I look stupid, I do apologise. I just had to do something with it today. It wouldn't even stay in a plait today, not even in a plait. So how are you, friends? I hope you're well. I hope today's treating you well. I'm going to try and do 2 videos today. So if you see a video tomorrow and I'm still wearing this little summer dress because it's finally getting warmer here, yay, it's because I've done 2 videos in one day. I'm going to do a make ahead recipe with you today. Now I like to do make ahead recipes to put in the pantry because I don't always get time to bake. Because by the time I finish work, thrown tea together, looked after the dog, sorted the dogs out, done the housework, laundry, blah, 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 I don't have time to bake all the time. So it's nice to have a bread mix, go ahead bread mix. It's nice to have a go ahead make ahead muffin mix, cake mix, all those sorts of things. So for tea tonight, I'm going to do like a chicken casserole, but I want to cover it with, I could cover it with mashed potatoes or something like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with an all-round baking mix. What it's called in America is Bisquick. And they use it for making muffins, pancakes, biscuits, casserole toppings. It's just a good all-round baking mix, really. So I'm going to use one tonight to cover the casserole. So I thought I'd just make this mix with you today. I'm going to make a big batch because it's really good to keep in an airtight container like a jar or an airtight bag. And it'll keep in your pantry for a good 2 to 3 months. Even 4 months actually, because I'm not putting other things in with it. But you can keep it in the fridge, and if you want to keep it longer, you can keep it in the freezer. Just put it in a freezer bag. I'm going to make a big batch up today, but I will put the recipe down below for a smaller batch as well, just in case you want to do enough just for one use. I'm just going to do a big batch today, so I've got a lot in a jar that I can just go to whenever I'm doing this recipe or something similar. So I'm just going to do a make ahead recipe today, a homemade Bisquick, an all-round baking mix. So I'm going to do that today, and then when I finish doing this, I will film making the chicken casserole or chicken pot pie, whatever you want to call it. It's a very simple recipe, but I'll probably post that tomorrow so that I'm trying to get ahead of myself a little bit with getting so behind recently. So we'll do that today. I'll make a start, shall I? So yeah, Thursday today, and I might just tomorrow, because I'm only working 3 hours tomorrow. What I might do tomorrow is I might go and do a big food shop in the morning, because it's been a month since I've done a food shop, apart from getting odd bits like milk, little bits of fresh food for the fridge. So apart from that, we've not done a big shop for a month. I think it'd be either a month tonight or a month tomorrow. Yeah, a month. I'm sure it's a month today since I've done a big shop. So I'm running out of quite a lot of stuff now. So tomorrow morning, what I might do is get a big shop done. Come home, I might just, depending on how my back is, because I'm in a lot of pain at the moment, if I'm well enough, I might do some batch cooking tomorrow to get a lot of make ahead meals put in the freezer, in the chest freezer. I don't want to put too much in this little fridge freezer because, like I've said to you before, I don't trust it now after that, what happened with last month. It seems to be behaving itself, but you just don't know, do you? I think it's on its way out. So I'm going to do some make ahead meals, hopefully, for the freezer. We shall see. So yeah, let's get on with this Bisquick. Now, just before I start though, there's a lot of different recipes online for Bisquick, for a Bisquick mix. Some put dry powdered milk in, which you can do if you want to. Just check any recipes online. I'm not going to do it this time. I've got some powdered milk in the pantry. I've got skimmed, which is non-fat, and I've got full fat milk powders put away. So I could easily put some milk powder into this if I wanted to. It doesn't keep as long in your pantry if you put a full fat milk in, but if you put a non-fat milk powder in, it will keep for about 6 months. I think if you put a full fat milk powder in, it'll probably last for 2 or 3. The reason why I'm not putting a milk powder in this one today is because I'm just going to add a cup, when I get it out of the pantry to just use some, I will just mix it with a cup of milk, or a third of a cup of milk, depending on how much of the mixture I want to use. I will add milk to it at the time. But what you could do if you wanted is you could put some milk powder in that, and when you come to use it, you could just add water. Up to you. If you want to use it for muffins, you'd probably just have to add a couple of eggs to it when you're coming to use it. So this one I'm doing today is probably the most basic recipe, so that it's a little bit more versatile for me. And then you can just adapt it to your needs as you wish, as you want to use it. So let me just try and move that down a little bit more. There we go. I don't want to go down too much because it just drops down if I do. So today we're going to use, if I can find my cup measurement, lots of different measures here. Yeah, 1 cup. I'm going to put in here 6 cups of flour. So if you were just doing a 1 batch make, you'd just put 1 cup of flour, plain flour, in this now. So I'm going to stick to this big batch that I want to do and do 6 cups. So that's 2, 3. I'm going to have to get a bigger box for my flour because I go through so much. 4. And I'm going to store these in airtight jars. 5. And finally 6. I think I probably might need a bigger bowl, but that will do for now. So we'll just pop that out of the way. There we go. So that's your 6 cups of plain flour. Like I said, I've got the 1 batch one here, if that I can write in the description look below as well if you want to use that instead. So then I'm going to add to that 3 tablespoons of baking powder. If you were making a 1 batch, you'd probably just put half a teaspoon in or something like that. But I'm going to do, that's not going to cut it for me, is it? I'm going to have to do a half tablespoon, I think, so it'll fit in the, so we're doing 3 tablespoons. 2, 3. So that's 3 tablespoons of baking powder. Then we want 1 tablespoon of salt. Where are you, salt? I'm just using a fine sea salt. Just use whatever you've got. As you know, friends, I don't like using table salt. I don't use table salt unless I'm putting some in my washing powder. And then we want a cup of vegetable shortening. So in England, we can't really get Crisco at a very good price. It's very expensive, but our UK equivalent is Trex. If you're in America, it'd be Crisco, vegetable shortening. You can put butter in this. So if you want to use butter instead of shortening, I would leave the fat out for now. And then when you come to make the batch up to use it, then add your butter. I'm going to use some shortening, and it's a full cup of shortening in this. Now, my pastry cutter hasn't arrived yet. It should have been here about an hour ago. So I'm going to have to try and break this up with a fork. And it will take a while, but that is fine. I do wish I had a bigger bowl. That is slightly bigger, but I'm going to have to try and get a much bigger bowl than this because of all the baking I do and cooking. So what you will do now is you will break all of that up into the flour. I'm hoping my pastry blade comes anytime soon because it will make the job much, much easier. Or if you had which I do have, it's in the cupboard, I can't be bothered to get it out, you could use your food processor for this part if you really wanted to. And the blades would make very light work of this. So what you're going to do is you're going to break this up till it's all properly mixed in with the flour. So it looks like, I suppose like breadcrumbs is what you want it to look like. So then when you actually come to use this Bisquick type recipe, what you will actually do is you will get a cup at a time out, depending on how much you want to use for your recipe. But for like to top this casserole that I'm going to be doing, I'll get a cup out and I will mix it with 1/3 of a cup of milk. Now if you're using this for let's say, I don't know, if you're using this for say like baking some muffins or something, you could add 1/4 of a cup of sugar, which would be make it a sweet mix then, wouldn't it? So we're just gonna keep on mixing this up with the fork or the knife. The knife might even work, but you know the blades, I mean, it's like a handle and it's got like 3 or 4 blades on it, and you just cut through the pastry till the flour till it mixes all of the fat in. That is meant to be on its way. So friends, once I've got this fully mixed in, I will come back to you. If you've got really cold hands, you could just mix it up like you do when you're making a crumble. That's the kind of consistency you want, really. Just like when you're making a crumble. There's too many lumps in that just at the moment. It needs to be broken up much, much more than that. So what I will do is I will come back in about 5 or 10 minutes when this is fully mixed in properly, and we'll put it in the jar together. All right, my lovelies, it didn't even take 5 minutes to be fair, but we've got it mixed up now into more of a, more like sand really, just like when you're doing a crumble. So that shortening is well mixed in now. So let me just move my little notes out of the way so we can get this in a big jar. And what I will do is keep this in the pantry, nice cool dark pantry, and it'll last about 4 months in there. If you want to keep it in the fridge, by all means do keep it in the fridge. If your pantry is not really dark or cool, you know, you can keep it in the freezer. Like I said, it'll be absolutely fine in your freezer. I would just probably be tempted to put it in a more of a, like a freezer bag, so I could lay it flat. And then, there we go. Get that in there, packed nice and tight. So that's in there now. What I will do is, there's my lid. That'll go in the pantry now. I'm just going to put the others in smaller jars because I'm going to be using quite a bit of it this week. I'll just keep down here in the kitchen for now. Probably just pop in the fridge actually. Just keep it down here where I can just grab it if I need it. So that's in that one. And then obviously I will be using some of this tonight for a recipe. Yeah, definitely need my funnel. Makes life a lot easier. So let's try and get this in here now without making too much of a mess. Samantha, please. You really don't need to be your clumsy self all of the time. There we go. So that I will just use up tonight on the casserole. Not quite a pint in there. And I'll just mix milk in it. I'll put probably about, it's over a cup of mixture that, so I'll probably end up putting about half a cup of milk in it or whatever, just till I get it to the consistency I want. And then I'll use that to top the casserole, as you will see when I come to make it. So like I said, this big 2-pint quart jar will go in the pantry. This one will just stay down here in the fridge with me for when I come to, you know, downstairs, so it's easy for me to grab hold of when I'm doing other recipes with it. And then this one I'm going to use in the chicken casserole tonight, or pot pie, whatever. So once my delivery has arrived, which it should have already been here by now, like I said, I will get on with the casserole and I'll get that filmed and uploaded for you for tomorrow. So that's the Bisquick recipe for you guys. Great for all sorts of recipes. If you've never used it before, these all-round baking mix type things that cost a fortune in the shops, by the way. I don't use this for pancakes. You can use this for making pancakes. I don't. I make a completely different recipe for pancakes. But because I've made this now, I might try pancakes with it just to see what it's like. We shall see. But for now, look up online what you can use Bisquick for. Pancakes, muffins, biscuits, casserole toppings, all sorts of things, all sorts of uses. And because it's all sorts of uses, that's the reason why I've left sugar out, I've left powdered milk out, I've left the other things out. I've just done the very basic. And you can make it even more basic than this if you don't want to put shortening in it, so that when you do come to use it, you can replace the shortening and use butter instead. That's absolutely fine. So yeah, that's your Bisquick recipe. One of many types of Bisquick recipes. Like I said, there's loads of different ones online, but that's the one that I want to use for the casserole topping tonight, and that will just bake in the oven later. So I'll be back with you tomorrow, my friends. So for now, goodbye, God bless, take care, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.